Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemel, Shahaba Shemakakodash, and Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. I'm going to entitle this video, If You're Not Doing This Work Diligently, then you are not a prophet of the Lord. Most likely, you're not a prophet of the Lord. That's why you should examine yourself, as the Apostle Paul said in, I believe that was second Corinthians 13:5. Anyway, so this is a lamb back from a lamb back that I did that Apostle Ramab did, entitled "We Know More Than the Prophets." And my title was a little bit different. We know all of the prophecies because we are the prophets. And a prophet is not one that knows the truth and hides it or pushes the truth out and disappears for a year or two or three or 20 or 6 months, or is not consistent with this thing, because these men don't realize that we're in the last days, the last time. And so they're pretty much, I can kind of chill out. I can do what I got to do. I can, I can go on vacation. I can chill out, because you don't see the end near. In your mind, maybe you're thinking, well, this ain't gonna, the Most High is not gonna come for another 20 years, 30 years, or 50 years. Well, this is the time. The fact that we're out here teaching, and we turned the world upside down. Where's that? I believe that's in Acts. Let me see if I can find that. I went through that the other day. I believe the phrase is "turn the world upside down." If I'm not mistaken, it's in the book of Acts. Turn. I don't know if it's turned the world upside down. Okay, let's see what comes up. Okay, that's not it. Let me do it this way. Take out the turn. Let's do it this way. Do it this way. Bear me for a minute. I have to resort to this. Bear me for a minute. I think I found it. I believe that's Acts 7. I was right. It was Acts. I believe it's Acts 17 and 9. Let's see what it says. Acts 17. Acts 17. Okay. Acts 17 and 6. Acts 17 and 6. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers. Now, when you read from the, okay, so I did a lesson on this the other day. Okay, I'm gonna start from the fifth verse. You can really start from the first verse. Matter of fact, let me go to the first verse. Paul at Thessalonica. Now, when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Israelites. Now, Paul, it says in Romans 11 that he uh, he was apostle of Gentiles, and the Most High magnified his office. Those Gentiles, initially the Gentiles were Israelites, and him having his uh, office magnified to the Gentiles are also Israelites. Every person that the Apostle Paul spoke to concerning this salvation were for the Israelites. So, fourth verse, and some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas and the devout Greeks, which are Israelites, born out of the land that kept the law, statutes, and commandments, a great multitude, and of the chief women, not a few, because women always followed this gospel as well. But the Jews or the Israelites, which believe not, moved with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort, and gathered a company and set all the city on an uproar and assaulted the house of Jason and sought to bring them out to the people. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. So what did that mean? What did that mean? These that have turned the world upside down are up here too. And if you can look at a map, Thessalonica is in Asia Minor. They wasn't too far from Athens and Corinth. So let me do this. And see, the world is being turned upside down all over again, but on an even broader level, because we're literally talking to the whole world through the internet on a based upon the word oikoumene, world, the entire world through the internet. So that's why you got Christians always popping up. You got vocab, you got the other Christians, you got Christians that roll up on brothers, not just of GMS, but other camps out there. And they got their scriptures all ready. And then they get cut because mainly these Edomites are looking for salvation. They're looking for salvation because they watch us and they say, well, these Israelite guys saying that we're not going to be saved, even though we're Gentiles. So they come with their scriptures, saying that Gentiles can make it too. And then we explain to them that those Gentiles are Israelites, as we've been telling vocab. Anytime he brings out a precept, we say those are Israelites. Well, what about these? These are heathens. It said heathens. Those are Israelites. So let's go. Cornelius, an Israelite. So you individuals that woke up to the fact that you're Israelites and you give yourself the label of a prophet or whatever label you give yourself as a great teacher or a prophet or an apostle or a bishop or general, any position that you give yourself, first and foremost, you're a teacher, whether you be an apostle, a prophet, a teacher, whatever, an evangelist. All these positions are teachers. They teach. They learn something from the spiritual realm, and they give it to the people that live upon the earth, which are Israelites. So you have a race to run, you know, which is a marathon, not a 100-yard dash. And you got to endure to the end. So the ones of you that learned this and you got all excited about it and you went out and you got your girl or your mom or whatever to put you a gum together with the fringes on it, and you grew a beard and you went out there strong, but you kind of got weak and you don't go out there. Your diligence is not where it used to be or supposed to be. So you got to be on fire with this thing. You got to be on fire with this thing, man. And like that's why Jeremiah, when he turned and he said he's not gonna, the Lord deceived him. He's gonna turn his back, and the Most High, he said he couldn't stay because the Spirit was in him like a burning fire. So he had that desire. It was that hot desire, either be hot or cold, because you were lukewarm. Most High will spew you out of his mouth. That's something that was given to one of the 7 churches of Asia Minor, which was the church at Laodicea, which they were doing good monetarily wise. But the first love, the scriptures speak about the first love, right? The first love is doing this work. That when you came to this thing, you was on fire, and then you became lukewarm because you up in age, you did this for X amount of years. No, you're supposed to be on even more, be on fire even more so, and that includes the leaders. There's no scripture where it says if you did this, if you've been out there diligently for 20 years, you can retire and let your men go out there. Because there's guys that are heads of camp that don't even go out there, but they'll let their men under them go out there. Okay, I want to go to a short one. Let's go to Cambridge is a little bit long. Let me go right to the point. Let's see what this says. Okay, so the world, meaning they turned the world upside down, are now among us. The inhabited earth, which is the word there is oikomeni, if you look it up. That's why you have to utilize, root words. You have to study root words. You have to go into the root of words, whether it be in the Old Testament or the New Testament. A phrase used in latter Greek to signify the whole Roman Empire. Yes, but now it's talking about the whole entire earth, which then embraced a large portion of the known world, right? The known world is the whole planet. Luke 2:1, it speaks much of the spread of Christianity and its powerful influence that words like these could come from the lips of enemies. Let me try another one. I don't like the way they went into it. Let's try Burns. Let's try Burns. Acts 17:6. And when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the cities, crying, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. I may go to maybe to the NLV or the NIV just to see what that says. Okay, Burns notes on the Bible, these that have turned the world upside down, that have excited commotion and disturbance in other places. So it was a commotion and a disturbance to who? To the ones that don't believe. That's why you got the Kemetic community want to always challenge and have debates. And the Most High close their eyes. You know what the Most High is going to do with these other Jakes that are not Israelites, that always kind of come to Israel? We're African, with Kemite. They're all going to take that charagma. There I go, I said it. They're all going to take the charagma and they're all going to die. Trust me. Because there's no ancient book of theirs that's going to tell them don't take that thing. They're going to take it. A lot of those guys got the juicy juice too. A lot of them guys got the ragamuffin too. So it says, including Israelites. You got Israelites that's going to take it too, because they're not dealing with the whole gospel. They don't know that part. It's a damn shame. Here we do videos every day, damn near. If I'm not doing a video on it, somebody else is in GMS on the charagma, and we're giving you the receipts, receipt after receipt after receipt, and you other camps can't see it because you blindly follow your leaders. I hope when that thing comes out, I hope like hell that your leader, your teacher, tells you the truth. Because if he says go ahead and take it, there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of you gonna take it, and you're gonna perish too. So it says, so we're turning the world upside down. The whole Israelite thing is turning the world upside down, because every Edomite, Jake, people around the world, mainly America, but around the world too, everybody that got an internet, a smartphone, that watched a YouTube video, they came across an Israelite video. So it's riling the people up, especially Edomites, because Edomites always thought, well, we're Christians, it's a Christian country, God-fearing country, and we're going to be saved, and a white man going to come down and save us, and all the angels going to be white. So it says, these that have turned the world upside down, that have excited commotion, and disturbance. What is it? They're being disturbed in what way? Well, they were happy with the white Jesus, the white angels, the white prophets, Moses being Charlton Heston, God in the heavens is white. White people are going to have crowns on their head, and Negroes are going to be slaves in the kingdom. There's a disturbance in other places. The charge has been often brought against the gospel, which is the truth. There's only one gospel. IUIC doesn't have their version of the gospel. ISUPK doesn't have their version of the gospel. Sakari don't have a version of their gospel. Either you have the whole gospel or you don't. It's like a pie. You ain't gonna buy a pie with some slices missing out of it. You're gonna buy the whole pie. If somebody says, well, give me that pie, they give you a pie and 2 slices missing, you ain't gonna pay for it. So are you damn crazy? Okay, so it says, so you got to get the whole pie, which a lot of these guys don't have the whole pie. Against the gospel, singular gospel, which is glad tidings in the Old Testament, that it has been the occasion of confusion and disorder. So this truth brings confusion and disorder for the ones whose eyes are not open. The ones whose eyes are open, they see it. They see through the minutia. Look that word up. They see through everything. All these men that came, I'm just dealing with GMS, that came into GMS that are here, if you're talking about 15, 16 years ago, that are still in this and that are teachers, they sought the Most High open up their eyes. The scriptures speak about eye salve, and they see clearly what the truth is. Come across the scripture, they clearly see it. If I teach something, or one of the other apostles or the bishops teach something, they'll see it. They'll just see it, and they'll even add to it. There's a lot of precept that comes out that we never taught the men that came up under us. Same thing goes with the seven that we learned from seven. Aria did a lot of breakdowns. We see more things than that they see, you know, because back then, High Priest Aria, when he went through the Charagma scripture, he said he teaches it the way the IUIC pretty much teach it in ISUBK and certain other camps, because he didn't know it. The Most High didn't open up his eyes to it. But then he did know it, because I asked him, pull him to the side, and I said, can it be talking about an actual physical thing that's going to go into your right hand and into your forehead? And you know what he said? He looked me dead in the eye. He said, yeah. He said, yep, you're right on that, but they're not going to have time to do it. I remember it like I talked to him yesterday. He said, yes, that's what it means, but they're not going to have time to do it. So I said, man, that don't make no sense. Why would the Most High put down the prophecy and not fulfill the prophecy? Doesn't make sense. And I asked him about that because I already knew it when I first came into truth back in the 80s, the early 80s. So it's going to be a major shakeup, you know, with that, when they really push this. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'll probably do a separate video. Now, when you get your car renewed, they send you it in the mail, and you send them a check. You fill it out. Yes, I want to renew, and you send them a check. And in that packet, right, I'm looking at the little things that they give you, the cards, reminders and stuff. So here's one of them, right? It says, you will soon need a real ID. Remember when they was trying to push the real ID? We talking, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, and people then rejected it. So what they do is, what the elite do, they give you something like they gave the world, before the United Nations, they gave them the League of Nations, which is the United Nations. What they did was, after World War I, you had the League of Nations. Okay, we're setting up an organization called the League of Nations for all nations to get together, so there won't be no more wars, right? That people didn't accept it. After World War II, they said they gave them the League of Nations again, but they gave it a different. They wrapped it up. They said, okay, this is the United Nations, which is the League of Nations. So guess what? Right now you have 198 nations that are part of the League, that are part of the UN. And that's that gathering together, the fornication I spoke about in Revelation 17. You can start from the first verse, read down. Main point is read down from the first to the fourth verse, really, then into the fifth verse. Now you had General Nathaniel Alaga say that was talking about the Quran. It's not talking about the Charagma. Because what was in that cup? The abominations and what was it? Filthiness. It has nothing to do with the Charagma. The Charagma is not necessarily an abominable thing. It's a technical thing, which is against what the Most High say, don't take it. It's a technical thing. Okay, so Barnes pretty much explained it in a nutshell. Let me see. Let me go here. I think that's pretty much. Anyway, let's come back into this. So that's what we did. That's why there's such a big deal going on. There's so much, this fire, this truth coming out. Constantly doing videos. If you're part of GMS, you're supposed to be doing a video or more than one video a day. Sometimes you do one video, sometimes you do 2 or 3. Sometimes you miss a day. You come back and you do 2 the next day. It's about consistency. If you're doing a video like once every month and it's like a 10-minute video and you ain't saying much, the spirit ain't with you, man. And we're not here to pat you on the back or want or rewind you or put a charger up in you. Because the charger comes from on high. It comes from the Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So either the spirit is with you or the spirit is not with you. And if the spirit is not with you, you're going to bug out, you're going to fall out, and you're going to come against the ones that taught you this truth in the first place. And all of you men out there, I'm speaking on behalf of GMS, all you men that have turned your back, that were part of GMS, that turn your back on GMS and talk about us and keep coming against us, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to make all of you take that charagma. You're going to take the charagma, and you're going to know that you're taking the charagma, and you know that you're going to eat a missile, but you're going to take it anyway. How's about that? So we're getting ready to hit some bumpy road, especially when this last major prophecy come of the charagma. I didn't even want to get into the charagma, but it always comes up because it's right there. Where I see it being months away. I see it being months away. Did you hear me? I see it being months away. You have a baby boy, baby girl, 1 year old. When that baby boy or baby girl hits 2 years old, 2.5, it might just be there. That's how fast. And you know how things move. Everything's moving fast. Literally, the universe is moving faster. Literally, that's a whole nother lesson. But anyway, this is what I want to do. The script, the Apostle Peter said, give diligence and make that calling and election sure, right? Apostle Paul said that you show the same diligence, right? When you can look that word up. It means when you're into something 100%. You're either hot or cold, and you can't be lukewarm. A lot of you guys are lukewarm. A lot of you guys that were on fire, you're no longer on fire. You gotta push harder, which is your reasonable service. You know, give your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to the Lord. Paul said, I am the prisoner of the Messiah. He called his fellows yoke fellows. Because a prisoner doesn't do what he wants to do. A slave doesn't do what he wants to do. A slave doesn't say, I'm going to take 2 days off. You're going to do what the slave master said do. Even if you're sick. We do this thing when we're sick. This is a nonstop thing, man. No playing games. No playing games, or you're going to get chipped. So now let me give you some precepts here. Let me go to John 4:35 to 38. I'm gonna line you up with some precepts now. 4:35. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white, ready to harvest. Now let me read that again and break it down to you. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh the harvest. You sow the seeds, right? You plant the seeds, and then in a number of months, now it says here 4 months, you can what is it? Reap the harvest, right? So you can lay back. You say, oh, we got 4 months. We're gonna let the corn grow, the wheat grow, whatever. So the Lord is saying, don't have that attitude. You better start grabbing it now because the crop is growing quick. So you better start grabbing the wheat now and the corn now. And in 4 months, you're going to grab more corn. So what was the Lord really talking about? He's talking about this truth. The people out there are known as seeds, Matthew 13, are known as wheat. And then you have the tares among them. Luke 10 and 2. The harvest is white, ready to harvest. So what is the harvest? Us going out there, we're the farmers, us going out there teaching the people. It says 36, 36 verse. It says, and he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth, that planteth the seed, who planted the seed? Give you an example. The seven planted the seed, right? And us. So we're doing the same thing. We're planting the seeds, and we're sowing and we're reaping. There's a term, reap the benefits. You don't reap the seed, you reap the benefits. It says, and he that reapeth receiveth wages, and the wages is what? A crown to be put upon your head, and the kingdom, and gathereth fruit, which are the people that come in unto you, unto eternal life, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. So when are we going to rejoice? When the deliverance comes. Because the Ab and Yaikwab and Masha and all of them that died in the work, they're going to reap the benefits that they did when they were alive. And we're going to reap the benefits because we continue to do the work. Others have entered into your labor. This is serious, man. This is your first priority. Not your women, not your children, not your job, not your car that you wash every Sunday. You out there for 3 hours. You know Jake out there 3 hours washing their car for 3 fucking hours, playing music in the background, drinking a Heineken. Just their whole that's their woman. They call it car. This is my baby. They call it your woman. She's a strong black woman, but your car is my baby. Something twisted. So it says 37 verse, and wherein is and herein is that saying true, one soweth and another reapeth. I sent you to reap that whereon ye bestowed no labor, other men labored, and ye have entered into their labor. Who's the other men that labored? The ones that we were taught under. So none of them are reaping, none of them are sowing, none of them are planting. Some of them are already in the spiritual realm. So we had to take that place. We had to take their place. And see, being out there in the field, you got the heat down on you. You wiping your brow, you taking a drink of water. You might have a little wine. Go to southern Italy. If you go like to Sicily and Sardinia and places like that, southern Italy and those different islands and so forth. You have the women get fat and the men stay skinny. You know why? Because the women are home cooking and they tasting shit, and that's all they do, cook and wash clothes and shit. And then the men, they're out there tending to the field. They don't go to the supermarket. So they're out there in the hot sun, sweating their ass off, drinking wine, and they're working. So they might eat, they might drink wine, and they stay fit because they're out there in the field. So the field was for the men. What made this country great? The slaves. Esau said, we're going to get them slaves. They don't want to work. We're going to whip them or we're going to kill them. And they got to go into slavery. They got to work out in the field. And they don't want that. They don't want that. That's why you got Edomites that say, well, they're on this street, Main Street, and so Main Street and Broadway and Pasadena, California, whatever. They'll know them. They come out between 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock, or whatever. The Edomite Christians come down there with their scriptures, and they get fucked up in the spirit. They get fucked up in the spirit, man. So next precept is Matthew 22, verse 2. Let's see what that says. So I'm giving you precepts now. Hey, see, you men out there They're coming to this truth. They've been in this truth for a number of years, and you got men up under you. You let the truth get into your head, and you think you're king this and master that, and you let your men go out there, and you ain't out there. You don't even do fit. Well, you don't go out there on the highways and the byways. So if I was roll up into one of the IUIC men on the street, I said, "Well, why you guys go out on the highways and the byways?" And they'll pretty much tell you, "Well, the scriptures say go out on the highways and the byways." Matthew 22, which I'm in Matthew 22. Matthew 22. That's the highways and the byways. That's one of them, highways and the byways scripture. So I might say, okay, well, why your leader or your leaders, they don't go out? Why don't they go out? Now, I don't know what they'll say, but they'll probably say, oh, well, they did 25 years doing this. They don't got to do it no more. Well, please show me that precept so I can take a break. Please show me that precept that you don't got to go out on the highways and the byways. John, on the Isle of Patmos, he had to be, if he wasn't 100 years old, he was damn sure close to it. Because when he was put up on the Isle of Patmos, that was the scholars will tell you that was during the time of Domitian, the younger brother of the son of Vespasian, the younger brother of Titus. It was said that he was put on the Isle of Patmos, but it could have been before that. Scholars argue that, but they all scholars will tell you that when he was on the Isle of Patmos, that had to be somewhere around in the 90s. They'll say 96 AD, around that time period. So did he have to do the work? Yeah, he had to gather salt from the Isle of Patmos. That was a salt mine. He had to gather salt, and he received visions. And then the Most High said in Revelation 10 that you're gonna prophesy before many kings, kindreds and nations and people. When did that ever happen, vocab? Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do something. Let me see what these so-called scholars got to say. Revelation 10, and I believe it's the 10th verse. Let's try that. Let's see what Revelation 10, verse 10 says. Nope, that's not what I want. And he said unto me, thou shalt prophesy again before many people and nations and tongues and kings. So let's see what these commentators have to say concerning that. And that's something that you can hit a Christian with. Hit them over the head with this. I'm gonna go to a short one. Okay, Cambridge is short. Thou must prophesy again. What is that? Revelation 10, verse 11. Some try to make out that there is here a new commission given to the apostle, which John was the apostle, and that in the reminder of the book, there are higher mysteries than in the foregoing part. But it is surely simpler to take it as a personal warning to the apostle himself. He was to see the end of all things. It didn't say that. It did not say that. It said he's going to prophesy again before many kings and tongues. Ain't no kings was up there on the Isle of Patmos sitting there. It's suggesting that he's going to get off the island and he's going to preach again. And that there's no record of that. But his own earthly work and duties were not at an end. He had already prophesied before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings, whether Nero or Domitian was the last of these. So they said Domitian, right? And it was Nero. He was that's Trump today. That's definitely Trump, coming back, and Nero coming back as Trump. So don't be surprised if he comes president again, or Caesar again. And this Nero was around. He ruled up until 68. Do the research. He ruled up until, and I believe he died. He ruled up until 68 A.D. 78, 88, 98. And then you had 70 AD. You know what happened then? And then you had because the disciples were killed 67 AD. So John wasn't put to death. It says, or Domitian was the last of these, and he would have to do the same thing again. Well, when did he get off the island and start island of Patmos and start prophesying to people again? There's no record of that. That meant reincarnation. That meant John was going to come back and prophesy. What do we say? We say that Ariah, we believe that Ariah is John coming back. So did not he out there prophesying? And you even got Israelite camps that stem from one West camps in one way or another that are totally against reincarnation. That are totally against reincarnation. So is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai dealing with those other camps that stem from one West? No. The Most High took it from them. Matthew 13, start about the 11th verse on down. He that does not have, it will be taken away from him, even that he have. That's that old wine bottle. So this is serious, man. This is your first priority. This is before anything. This is before you. It says, and herein is that saying true, one soweth and another man reapeth. And I sent you to reap that whereon ye bestowed no labor, other men labored, and ye have entered into their labor. So who labored did we enter in? The men that were before us, that we were taught by. So let's go to Matthew. And I was covering this last week. So Matthew 22. Okay, there's another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son. Who's the son? Yahushai. Who's the bride? Israel, starting with the elect. And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, which is the kingdom. My oxen and my fatling are killed, and all things are ready. The kingdom is ready. Come unto the marriage. Only way you're going to make it to this marriage is if you're right with the Most High and you're part of the elect. But they made light of it. What does it mean they made light of it? That means they came into this work, but I'll get around to it when I get around to it. I ain't got to go out no more. I was out there for the last 15 years. I don't got 20 years. I don't got to come out there no more. I'm disenchanted. I'm not going to do this no more. All of you gonna get something. You're gonna get a reward. You know what the reward is? You're gonna get a karagma. But they made light of it and went their ways, did their own thing. One to his farm, another to his merchandise. They call it merch now. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and that's the angels led by Yahushai and Michael right behind them, and destroyed those murderers and burnt up their city. It says city. What city is it talking about? The main city is Babylon the Great. So it is going to be burnt up. So right here, that's a reference to the destruction, the nuclear destruction. It said burnt, right? It said burnt up their city, singular. Then say if he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways and the by. That's why we go on the highways and the byways, because of this precept for one. And as many as ye shall find, bid them to the marriage. Tell them that they're Israelites. And out of those, you're going to have the elect coming out of that. So the biggest vehicle that we use is the internet. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. The good are the elect. They're going to stay with this thing. The bad, they're going to start for a little while, then they're going to fall out. And they're going to come against you. And the wedding was furnished with guests. Now, as you read down, it speaks about having a garment on. The garment is the works, having the truth and doing the truth. You know you're an Israelite, and you at first you out there hard, you hard stomping on the streets and teaching his word, and then you don't do it no more because you figure you put some years in and you have a leadership position, and you let your men out there, and you don't come out on the highways and the byways. And you know what they always say? Well, I got other personal things I got to do for the Most High. There's things behind the scenes. Okay, all right, yeah, okay. Yeah, you want to sell me the Brooklyn Bridge too? What you doing behind the scenes, man? The scripture say in Isaiah, was that Isaiah 30 and 20? It says, they shall see their teachers. They shall see their teachers. It says, and he saith unto him, friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot, and take him away and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. How many men? There's got to be in the hundreds. How many men that came into GMS? Among these men that came in, how many went back into the world? And guys that were super diligent, man, all of a sudden the spirit was out of them. Spirit was out of them, man. Some guys come in not so diligent, and then they become diligent. Some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. So this, going back to Revelation 3 verse 15, we can start at the 15th verse. It speaks about being lukewarm. Either be hot or cold, but because you are lukewarm, I shall what? I will spew thee out of thy mouth. Because you're a bad taste in the Most High's mouth. A lot of these guys are dropped dead. A lot of these guys are bugged out. A lot of these guys went into things that they did before they came into Israel. So it says, I'll quote these, 2 Peter 1 and 5. I'm sorry, let me go to that. 2 Peter 1 and 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 Peter 1 and 5. Now in 10 it says, give diligence to make that calling and election sure. It said, and beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience powerliness, and to powerliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. Now what's greater than charity? That's got to be nope. The greatest gift is to prophesy. That's what the Apostle Paul said, 1 Corinthians 14. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that ye shall neither be barren nor unfruitful. Because who are your fruits? The ones that come in the knowledge of Yahweh, in the knowledge of Yahweh Shai. The Lord, or the word there should be Kairos, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, or either one, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. But he that lacketh these things is blind and cannot see afar off because they don't have the fear. They don't see that they're going to be jacked up. A lot of you don't even believe that the missiles are going to come. A lot of you don't even believe. Some guy told me, "Oh, the Karagma already came." Have forgotten, and I told him recently. I said, "You're not one of the elect." It says, and I haven't seen him on the comment board too tough, and have forgotten that he was purged from his old sins. What does it say in Hebrews? It says to renew. Let me see if I can find that. It's either, give me a second here. Let me find another tab. You know what I'll do? I'll do this. It's either Hebrews 10. Hebrews 10. Let's try Hebrews 10. Oh, let me see here. Bear me for a minute. Let me do this. Let me do it this way. Okay, this is what I want. The Messiah or judgment. Hebrews 10, verse 26. And if we sin willfully, now what does it mean to sin willfully? Because the Apostle Paul said, "It's not me that doeth it, but sin that dwelleth in me." When you accept the Yahushai, then you're no longer under the curse of the sin. But if you turn your back on him, then the curses come back on you, and you have to pay for the sin. Why do you think Yahushua in St. John's 8th chapter cursed those wicked scribes and Pharisees out, and he said, "You're going to die in your sins," because they didn't accept him. So even if they did one sin, you commit one sin, you're guilty of all. It says, "For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, you turn your back on the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin, but a certain fearful looking for judgment and fiery indignation." There goes again, fiery indignation. What was Paul talking about? He saw the fiery indignation is when the Lord takes his place out by fire. Indignation, justifiable anger, which shall devour the adversaries, our enemies. He that despises Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, that was them calling me. Okay, so. Uh, I got one more. Second Peter. What is that? Second Peter. Second Peter 2. 20th verse. So if after they have escaped the pollution of the world through the knowledge of the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, the Savior, uh, they are again entangled therein. They go back to the world and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it is for it is for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandments delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog has turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. So I want this, Luke 17:2. Mark 9:42. Matthew 18:6. So this is for any of you that came into the truth and fell off, and you came against the ones that taught you. It says, Matthew's 18, verse 6, but whosoever shall offend one of these little ones, we are the little ones, uh, which believe in me, it were better for them that a millstone were hanged about thy neck, and that he were drowned in the deeps of the sea, the depth of the sea. Mark 9, verse 42. And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he was cast into the sea. Luke 17, verse 2. It were better for them that a millstone, I got to jump up. Let me go to 1. Then said he unto his disciples, it is impossible, but that offenses will come, but woe unto him through whom they come. Let's look up the word offenses. Scoffers. All of you gonna get that. All of you gonna get that charagma. Comes from the word scandal, scandalon, the movable stick of a trigger of a trap stick, any impedent place in the way and causing one to stumble or fall, which is the stumbling block. The scriptures speak about the stumbling block, right? So if you're teaching this truth, you better make sure that you're teaching everything correctly, that you're not deceiving somebody. You might be sincere, but you're deceiving them and you're still going to get jacked up. So one of the main things that we teach is the charagma, right? Revelation 13, 16, and 17. Anybody that's teaching contrary, that's scandalous. That's impediment. That's a trap. It says any impediment placed in the way and causing one to stumble or fall. So we're teaching the truth about the charagma, and you got other groups that are well, mainly IUIC. So the Most High is going to have to do something to the leadership of the IUIC, and He is going to do something. He is going to do something because we teach that in sincerity, man. It says any impediment placed in the way and causing one to stumble or fall, a stumbling block, occasion. These comedic people that teach you this comedic stuff, they're going to have a bad end. Occasion of stumbling, i.e., a rock, which is a cause of stumbling, figuratively applied to Yahushua HaMashiach, whose person and career were so contrary to the expectation of the Israelites, says Jews here, concerning the Messiah, that's why he said he condemned them all, and wicked scribes and Pharisees, that they reject him and by their obstinacy made shipwork of their salvation. You destroy your own self. Any person or thing by which one is entrapped, drawn into error or sin. So what is it? The Lord said, you do error and not knowing the scriptures. So anything that we teach and other group teaches contrary to that, the Most High is going to get you. The Most High is going to get you. Revelation 3, verse 15, we already spoke on that. I don't got to go to it. Hebrews 6, verse 11. What did the Apostle Paul say? He said that you show the same diligence. Peter said that 2 times in 2 Peter 1. Let's see what Proverbs 27, verse 3 says. Proverbs 27, verse 3. I'm sorry, is it 3? 23. Let's see what that says. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks. That's why you have the various camps. You have leaders, second in command, third in command. If you have 10 guys, 20 guys under you, it's your responsibility that these guys are doing the right thing, right? That's what Jethro told to Moses. It says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks and look well to thy herds. It's talking about the men under you. That's all I wanted in that. That's all I wanted in that. Ezekiel 34, verse 23. Let's see what that says. Ezekiel 34, 23. 34, 23. And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. And it's talking about actual David from the past. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd. (24) goes into it as well. So it's not the number one king is going to be King David on the earth. Then you're going to have king number 2, king number 3, king number 4, all the way up to king number 12, which are the 12 apostles. And then you have the 144,000. And then you have leadership among Israel, and all Israelite men will become priests. For what? For the sake of the other nations. So, because they're going to have to learn them laws. Let me go to Ezekiel 34, verse 11. Verse 11 and verses 11 and 12. Let's see what that says. The restoration of Yasha'Allah. You got Vocab Malone talking about a replacement theology. No, the people that the Lord's coming to save are whether it be in the Old Testament and New Testament, are Israelites. Not one heathen is going to make it in that ship. It says here, 11 verse, for thus saith the Lord power, behold, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out. So you're going to separate the good from the bad. As a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so these people coming from Central and South America are our people. So well, and some of them, don't be surprised if some of them are part of the elect. Some of them are part of that number, or most of them are part of that number in Revelation 7, verse 9, or even the 144,000. So will I seek out my sheep? And how is the Lord seeking out his sheep? By us. And will deliver them out of all places, including this place, before the fire hits this place, where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. What's the cloudy and dark day? There is going to be well, hold up. Amos 5. The cloudy and dark day. Amos, let me get ready to close. Amos 5. Woe unto you that's decided the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it? So the day of the Lord is when the Most High, when the Lord comes with the angels and comes to destroy this place, it's going to be a cloudy and dark day. It's going to be dark because those missiles and those ships, they're going to block the sun. So it's going to be a sunny day, then all of a sudden everything's going to get dark, and then you're going to see fire from the skies, and you're going to see people being beamed up, which are the elect of Israel, and then you're going to see you being destroyed. Hearts filling them for fear for those things that are coming upon the earth. So the charagma has to come before the destruction comes. So all of us will be tested. Anyway, I'm going to say shalom.